recording.
Okay, so we're going to learn a little bit the liAvraham's summary and explanation of the Ari, and the Sefer was a choshev yad they found relatively recently. It's choshev yad the liAvraham. It's a very special Sefer because many of the works didn't have, in Europe, they didn't have the Shar Kavanas, Lamashal, so till much later. So, I can Rav Yaakov Hillel, there's another summary by a student of Baal Shem Tov named Moshe Don called Sraf Priyetz Chaim. It's not only a summary, he brings also steers and very strong, beautiful, powerful sefer on the Kavanas. And it's not always so easy, and it's long. It's longer than many of the other summaries. And Rav Yaakov Hillel writes in the introduction that either this person alone had Shar Kavanas, which is really unlikely because nobody else had it, or he had a very unusually high caliber of Ruach HaKodesh, and just every time he just was mechaben somehow to the Shar Kavanas. Now, if you know Rav Yaakov Hillel, it's not his style to say the guy had like incredible Ruach HaKodesh, and he was like, it's just not his thing. So he just he's looking at evidence. He's like, I have no idea how else he's gonna come up with this, because the evidence what they had at the time was not giving over these ideas. So the choshev liAvraham had access to all the ksavim, or at least pretty much. He has certain things in here that are not so easy to find anywhere else. Maybe one or two things, maybe even unique, and he'll bring very from the B'Shem Arizal, which I don't know. As far as I'm pretty sure it's not anywhere else. Not that often, but it can happen. And it's a very, very beautiful summary. He's explaining what's behind it, and it's succinct. So one of the reasons why we like to do this, Purim is easy, right? Because Purim is short. Maybe we'll also do it for Pesach too. We'll see. Is you're going to find out that something which Baruch Hashem, which really people, if we're zocheh to learn the Ari, Baruch Hashem was zocheh to learn my Borin's journey, you have to learn it. You learn it, and it becomes like you get we were speaking about this yesterday, I think a little bit also. You get a deep connection to the Yom Tov that doesn't really make sense in terms of your hachana. You spend an hour and it's like something totally. There's something else going on here, which is like the deep. There's like something going on with the Yom Tov which we don't really understand what's flying on Yom Tov. Yom Tov is taking us to places when you start to learn about it. It's amazing. That's why the Maggid also writes about Kavanas. He said many people that learn Kavanas even if they're not mechaven do the daven of the Kavanas. He said because if you understand that Heichen Magin Advarim, if you know, wow, this is going to the highest places, you're going to have an easier chance of paying attention to your davening because wow, this is going to incredible places. But it's something that's above seichel, and I was very happy to see this. The Weintraub also wrote this in his letters. They said people saw that preparing for the Yom Tov also this the same idea. Like spending time preparation gives you a completely different connection to the Yom Tov. So we're going to start learning. It's the choshev liAvraham, Purim, right? So the 26th Rimon. 26 pomegranates is Bechina of Purim. What is Purim al Pidari? So he said, Hine begolos Bavel, Yorda Malchus Lamata Besod Amyut Libria. Vayachub Nabayis. The Golos means that the Malchus was diminished. Went down to Bria, whatever this means. Lamaisa, there was a tremendous lowering of everything, and then it was possible for the Beis Hamikdash to be destroyed. V'haya chorban habayis, sham b'vo haya chasidim b'anshi ma'isa chetra mazger, v'hem mesaknim oisa ma'aseh matim. There were these very great people, the builders, and these people who were tzaddikim, who were fixing in order to bring the Gula. We think the Gula just came there 70 years in Golos. He said that's not how it works. Geula, even though you don't see it, Geula is something that happens because, how does it happen? How does Geula happen? Geula happens because a person is able, he's zocheh to do tshuva, and generally speaking, that's what brings the Geula. So you do tshuva, you bring the Geula. We were speaking a few weeks ago about this concept of the Rebbe Melech. Right, he put this keli of the Beis Hamikdash and this keli of the Beis Hamikdash. What you do, it makes a big difference. Nassim also says, "Masmech Karen Yeshua," that every person, his good maisim, go into the Karen Yeshua. That's going to bring him. That's bringing the salvation slowly but surely, bringing the or. That's Bekitzer, the Indian. So that's how it's ready for the Geula, right? The dot. כאשר בסוד נקוד הצורך שיסתלקו המלך ממנו כדי להיכנס בו בעצמו. כי אין שהר הביאס העולם בסוד בימוי של אלוקים לעשות סלע. אוקיי. אבל כשנבנה די לאור המלכים היוצאים אלה ממנו. Okay. This is an important concept that comes up in the real lot. This idea is also very much in Rosh Hashanah, very much in many ideas, many concepts. And this is the underlying svara for what we know in Chassidus as Yerida L'Tzarech Aliyah. Rabbi Nachman is very into learning how to manipulate your life circumstance to like access big light through various rules, Kabbalistic and Hasidic rules. This is a rule. So like, because there's something called Yerida L'Tzarech Aliyah, even if you fell, Rabbi Nachman said you can use this as a Yerida L'Tzarech Aliyah and go to a place that's very high. You do tshuva miyahava. There are ways that you can use it and make it happen. A person wants to be a ger, right? A ger, all he does is one time he takes on. He says, "Okay, I'm sincerely taking on Torah mitzvahs." The Bezdin is convinced he's sincere. They teach him a little bit, right? It can be done really quickly. Usually, it takes a little longer to make sure he's sincere, but and he's ready to live a Jewish life. It's not that long. The main ger is if he's a man, he's mila. A woman doesn't need mila, and he goes to the mikvah. Kabbalah mitzvahs. So this is what you think, that if you fall, you get back up. You fall, you get back up. You think that all of those Kabbalah mitzvahs are not much more powerful than some ger one time, even if he's very sincere. So of course they are. But again, it has to do with you. It has to do with your choice. The Shurim says, yeah, but it's very high. Ger, he really means it. Okay, so work on really meaning it. It's not that as long as you're working on it, you're putting your efforts into it, you can do it. It's not. You have to learn. So again, that's the idea of you to do it. So the technical aspect of what you really is every time you have to build what's called the malchus. The malchus bekitzer, from our perspective in the world, first of all, which is like again with parallel Chassidus, the malchus. One aspect of malchus is how you bring Hashem into the world. How much we're bringing God into the world. When there's a higher level, we can bring in there's even a Beis Hamikdash. When there's a very low level, we don't have a Beis Hamikdash. So we have there's an aspect of you having to build. We need to rebuild the aspect that's called the malchus. And then he speaks about this at great length, and it's not our sugya, but very simply, you have just like Adam Rishon. The malchus starts with a nekuda, and you have to build the malchus up. Generally speaking, the malchus, this is again the which we're going to see a lot of. We're going to learn through this, God willing, which is that most of these avodas that we learn to read has to do with our personal avodah. It's not just things that are happening. The Ramchal speaks so much about personal avodah. He says, "Don't think chas v'shalom that there is no mitzias on high. There certainly is. These are realities, but the main reason why we need to know them according to the Ramchal is to understand how to serve Hashem, to understand how to bring what he calls the gil of the yichud of Hashem. We're supposed to brings the revelation of God's complete oneness into the world. We have Bechira, and then we're going to figure out that everything, the way the Mechal's his Mahalach is, that everything is built in, that any bad has to turn to good. That's why it's so satisfying, people are so into movies and books and things. That's like, oh, the good guys won. If the bad guys win, it's going to be a bad movie. No one's going to like it. They won, and that's it. Maybe it's bittersweet if they have some justification, but if just the bad guy just blew them to pieces, the murderer got away, and he's the king now, and that's it. No one's going to be happy with that movie. Like, why not? Because we all know, deep down, deep inside, we know very well that there's supposed to be a ticket, like the Rebbe Chabad's Rebbe says. He says the reason why a person is revolted by things that are injustices. He said there's an Indian of taking Kivyachol Hashem to task, as it were, and saying, how could this be? Right? This Indian is because we know that it's not supposed to be that way. It has to be that way for reasons that are very, very deep and very secret, because we're in Golos and this is how things are sometimes. It generates Kiddush Hashem somehow. Fine, okay. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in a different way. So you have this Bechinat the Malchus. The Malchus is in the Klippas. So the Malchus is in the Klippas. So it's a Nekuda. It's protected from the Klippas. You have to build the Malchus. You have to, just like Adam Rishon also, they took from Etzela, right? They took from the rib of Adam Rishon, it's like this little Nekuda, and you built this Chav out. Same thing. The Malchus in every level, when it's moving to the new level, or whatever you're trying to reveal in yourself. I'm trying to reveal myself as new Indian. I want to learn, a person's learning Gemara Rashi, he wants to learn Tzother Tosus. A person's davening, he's like, you know what, I'm going to daven a little bit better. A person wants to get up a little earlier, he wants to work hard. whatever it is he wants to work on, his temper, on his laziness, on his taivas, whatever it may be, in that area, he's already got to rip it away. He's got to understand that, wow, in this area I have mamish nothing. It's in the klipas. My problem, I'm mamish, they have the bechin, it's called kesher, which is the ratzon, right? That's the nekuda, the malchus is the little nekuda, and then everything else, it's mamish nebechi, this problem, he gets angry, and he's like, who knows what happened to him? He sees a pizza, I don't know, he inhales it. What happened to the pizza? Why are you eating so much? What happened? It's not ticking? What are you doing? I don't know, it's a place. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. It's over, it's gone. Like, each person he gets for diets, they get for davening, he has to learn what it tells, learn what the geschmack. Every person according to their own self. We have to find our avoda, so we have to build the malchus, and it's the same thing for what we want to build our basic midrash, like the das, like the Rebbe brings, like the Muslim brings from the Gemara Brachas, whereas Bras is the basic midrash. So you have to build it. That means working slowly but surely, working on yourself and dealing with your bad news, like the Rebbe says, one at a time. So each one is like an akuda, and then slowly but surely you build up. So we're really talking about us as well. But there's a fact also in the klal that we have this bechina, which is that the malchus is only an akuda. It's in the place we have to build it up. So we're up to the second paragraph, right? So I think we have to. So at that point, when it's time to build the malchus, right? Just like in B'riyas Olam, what happened to Adam Rishon? Adam Rishon went to sleep. Similarly, Kiv Yachol, Anpin apparently goes to sleep, and this is the aspect of that when it's time to move to a new level. Very often, things seem to be unfair and things seem to be especially difficult. You don't understand what's going on. You don't understand the hashgacha, the Rav Tzadok, the way he explains the Tamarim. The hashgacha seems to be less. He has beautiful things here, there. Wow, we didn't even talk about those this year. I think I had so much Rav Tzadok, but Rav Tzadok, very very big kids. Rav Tzadok says that Amalek. We spoke a little bit by Amalek. We spoke a drop of it. Amalek came before Matan Torah because they didn't really tzorach aliyah. So you had to have Amalek and then the B'Shav before Yisur Matan Torah. And he says that Anoich Hashem Elohi Alecha, the Jewish people heard why? They heard it because these are the two main aspects. Anoich Hashem Elokecha and Elohi Alecha, which means you have to understand that everything's Hashem. The more you live with everything is Hashem, the more you live a spiritual life, and the more your life is on a totally different plane. And Elohi Alecha also is bechin of not thinking the sibus, but there's a lot of things. Not thinking, it's a sibus. So he says there's two ways for Hashem to look at every person. It's very beautiful. Again, it comes out as usual. Rav Tzadok, he goes his own brilliant, unbelievable way, but very often his starting point is Rinachman of Nelson. Like that's where it comes out to. That's one of the reasons why I really like Rav Tzadok, because even though he goes his own way, sometimes in ways that maybe you'd say, do we agree, don't we agree? It can happen once in a while where it's like, it's the Kiddush, like, I don't know, generally speaking, it's just an outgrowth of breast of taking it its own beautiful way. So he says, there's two ways to look like, again, Rav Nelson, Yediyah Bechira. Which is it? Is it from Hashem? Is it from you? Do you have Bechira? Did you do it? Or did someone else? You told your car. Is that from Hashem? Or is that you messed up? You dropped the ball. What happened? Well, it's both. Unless it's both, we don't understand how that is. And he, once again, as usual, gaming the system. He's like, before you fall, it's usually better to focus on your Bechira. Because, generally speaking, that's where you're going to be most matzliach. And after you fall, again, people are like, what? This is epicurus? It's not epicurus. After you fall, it's better a person, because he's not holding by dealing with his problem now, better to focus on the idea. Better because it's from Hashem. Not because you don't have to do tshuva. Of course you have to do tshuva. He didn't even raise chas v'shalom. Any part of Shulchan Aruch, part of the Rambam, there are levels and levels and levels. But you can't do it now. If you're going to try to do tshuva, you're going to feel guilty and bad. You're going to sin more. You're going to fall more. So you have to be strong. There's in many places this idea. Okay, but he's not necessarily saying if you feel like doing tshuva, so do tshuva. You can focus on bechira if you can hack it, but most people can't. That's the problem. So again, he's using this whole bechira idea. He's saying you have to learn when to focus on bechira and when to focus on the idea to enhance your vote. Like again, he's using it. So it's the same idea. So there's two ways to look at a person and his sins. So you can look at it as being these sins are because he's challenged and been thrown into this particular situation since Sheish Mebrachis. He's got certain sparks to pick up, and he's got certain challenges and certain things he's got to deal with. He dropped the ball, not dropped the ball, and really, it's all about physicality. It's all because someone ate the das, and everything was lowered. Otherwise, it would be a totally different world, a totally different situation. So it's like you can look at it. Hashem could look at it like that, or I could look at it like, no, it's your problem. She said, "That's why I'm Malek. A Malek is mikra. It's all it happens." He said, the more you're mikra. He said, it says the more we look at Hashem with Mikra, the more He looks at us, Kiv Yachod Mikra. How could Hashem treat us with Mikra if everything's from Hashem? So it's like says, He doesn't treat us with Mikra. He says, okay, because you don't understand everything about Shkacha Pratis, I'm going to look at your Averis as if you made the choice. Your problem. It's very, very deep. He said, because you think you're not bringing me in your life and not connected, which is like the main ashka, like the main purpose. So I'm going to look at your affairs as if you chose to do them. I'm going to look at that perspective. On the one hand, you chose. You didn't have bechira. You have bechira. On the other hand, I have problems. I was born with people. You see babies that have tempers. You see babies that are bali taiva. You see babies like these are babies. This is a baby even has this predisposition to certain things. Okay, that's just the way the child is. Genetically, it has. That's the way Hashem made it. Because that's from. So really, the very comes from these things which are for Sheshmei Bereshis. So the more you bring Hashem into your life, the more Hashem, generally speaking, gives you this like benefit of the doubt. Like he's like, okay, yes, you do tshuva and everything, but like the ma'isa comes to Sheshmei Bereshis. And the less you live with Hashem, the more you're a bechin of a malik, Hashem goes with you with Kerry also. He says, fine, happenstance, it's your problem. All that stuff is happenstance. It worked out that way, but you had bechira. Didn't man up, tough luck. That's what it's like. He said, that's your choice, and that's the whole...
Hashem looks at your affairs as your deal?
Hashem looks at your affairs not as your deal, but the way he explains it comes out. The way I'm standing, I'm saying only deal. The way he explains it is that the ma'aseh comes from different things you're disposed from Sheshmei Bereshis. It's different stuff. It's physical stuff. It's not really you. It's not really what you wanted. It's not really who you really are. That's if you're value doing tshuva, but that's if you're focusing on connecting to Hashem and understanding everything's b'ashkacham from Hashem Yisbarach. So then you get it's a different bechina, special, not exactly a pass, because he doesn't mean to say a pass, but that you're doing whatever you can to bring Hashem into your life. And whatever way you can. So he says, you're on a totally different... This is, of course, we start to look back, we start to... All the questions become answered. Like, what's the Yom Kippur? You go back to it, you don't go back to it. It's like, again, the more you work on the Hashgach of Hashem, the more things become completely different. That's Bekitzer. That's what he says, Bekitzer. So, like, what am I trying to say here? It's very simple. This idea of building the Malchus. This idea of building up who we are, where we are, what we are. This Bechina of the Yerida. Kind of the Zod, generally speaking, is the right Malchus is like bringing God in, like in Mice, and the Zer Anpin is like your emotional states. Bring Hashem in when you have emotional completion. You have Hashem in this aspect, and you have completion in these various areas. Maybe the easiest way to understand it is the way of the Balatanya, the growth. Also, they both say the same idea that you have Chabad is the Machshava, and Chagat is the Dibor, and Nai is the Mice. That might be the easiest way of understanding it. Right, so that's the bechina of what we're talking about here. So you have an Indian of in different areas, different levels. So you have Chagat Nai is Dibor and Maisa. So then you have the lower level of Mach, Mach's Kabbalah, so Mach Shamayim, and all the things when it's really hard for you, when what you do counts the most. What you do counts the most when it's the hardest. That's when you fix the katnas. That's when you're doing the biggest things. That's why you really tzarich aliyah, because now you're in this place, you can declare, like the Torah tells us this beautiful mashal. He said, you have a person in prison, this guy's a prisoner, right? Who really loves God? Who really loves Hashem? He says it's a mashal to like a person who's a servant of the king, and he's taken in jail. He says to someone who's not like so, ardent, like he's not so real. He's going to start saying, yeah, well, how am I going to get out of here? How do I get out of the jail? I'm under this other power now. What do I do? He says, someone who loves the king with his whole heart, his own king, he said he's going to start declaring the king, the king, and that's it. I don't care. You guys are nothing in jail. So this is the guy who is the ultimate, he is the ultimate servant of his own king. He says the same thing. When you're you fell away, then we see where you really hold it. Another mashal also from the Slaner Macheder, maybe also in Torah Savos, could be also there were two big officers. The king wanted to see who was really sincere, so he took the officers and he used to light the lights in the palace. And he said, "Now you're going to start to clean the stables." And one officer is like, "Oh man, what did I do wrong? Do I deserve this? Blah 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 blah." Another officer was like, "I don't care. I serve the king." Lighting the candle, lighting the lights in the lamps, a big cupboard, wonderful. Cleaning the stables, fine. It's also serving the king. What do I care? That's what he said. So that's this. What we're talking about. That's bechin of the Yerida Tzarich Aliyah. So Yerida Tzarich Aliyah really means again you have this bechin of the Adam Rishon went to sleep. There's an up in the parent Hashgacha looks like it's sleep because we don't have a schos like Yesh Devir says you don't have a schos, so it looks like there's no Hashgacha. It looks very hard for you to figure it together. It's not so easy. So that's only the way it is apparent. That's the bechin of the Zer Anpid. Again, it's the bechin of where you should have emotion, like things are clear. You have the Dibur and the Mais, it's all to you clear. You have Hashgacha. That's how he learns this bechin. It's called Zer Anpid. The regular Hashgacha. The Machs, even the Kabbalah's old and when it's hard, but you don't really, all you have is the bechin of the Machs. So actually, yeah. So that's what we're talking about here. So this bechina of where we are, Haman saw that there was a situation. There was a situation with Haman that he knew a lot of choshev, and he saw a lot of things. So he saw that there was a strange matzav where Kivyachol Adam Rishon was asleep. His bechina the regular hashgacha is asleep. And the bechina, and of course it's all Hashem Echad, it's all lo shayach, it's just the fear how we take it in. It's different. Every person according to how he takes things in, how he sees, how he in various areas how we perceive things. But it's still Hashem Echad. Like I always say from the Zohar. The Zohar says Shema Hashem Ekim Hashem Echad. Aleph is Keser, Ches is Chachma Bina, maybe even Das. I don't know if it mentions Das as well. Right? Ches Gut Ves and Tzachot Yisod, and Dal is Malchus. That's Echad. So it's like yes, because it's how you perceive. But all of these is really one. There's one God. It's nothing to do with any. There's nothing to do with anything. Like one person might come from Chesed, so he's going to see things in the frame of Chesed. But it's nothing to do with the same. Hashem is the same exact Hashem. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It has to do with just how you take it in, how you see it. And there are B'chal's mashal. You have a light source, and you have millions of different veils, maybe different colored veils. It's the same light. It doesn't matter if it looks blue to you, it looks red to me, it looks like I'm more into Chesed, you're more into Gvura. You're in different times, different situations. That has nothing to do with what's happening. There are maximum rules. So you have all these beautiful glass shapes with water in it. It's the same water. It doesn't matter the color of the glass, doesn't matter the shape of the glass. It's the same water. It's just the how you perceive right now, right here, where you are. That's this aspect. Every person is a different outgrowth of certain things. Right now, you might be a combination of chesed and gvura, all these different things in a particular way. We each have these capacities. You can call it dibur and ma'aser. You can call it chesed, gvura, tiferet, tzachot yisod, malchus. However you explain these things, what they mean, right? The capacity for expansiveness, capacity for limits, capacity for truth, capacity to figure out and admit on the one hand what's wrong. That's hod, and then netzach is to go and do what's right, to win through, even when you don't have the big smochin, right? And then you so to realize that everything counts. Right? That's the six bechinas. However you look at it, wherever you're holding, that's how you perceive. That's where you are. This is like Hakdam we speak about a lot. We're learning Zinyanim to get like a little understanding. Api Chasidus, Api Avoda. It's like it's not people shouldn't make any mistakes. It's very very simple. It's where you are. That's how you perceive. But Hashem is Hashem Echad anyway. Just to feed what you see. So, fine, very good. So that's the of what's going on. So Haman was able to perceive, like we'll see in a minute or soon enough. Haman was able to chap all of these Zinyanim. He saw that there's a whole thing going on here. That Mitzad Echad, the kill Adam Rishon to sleep, and they're supposed to build Chava, but he figured like forget it. These guys are not building Chava. They fell into sort of choshev and whatever other things. He had other reasons why he felt like they'll never get through. He thought the 70 years were over. I think in actuality, if I'm not mistaken, the Seder Dora says that it's 46 years. It was 46 years after. Yeah, we started already. We'd love to see you. Bye. So it's 46 years after I believe it's only 46 years after the whole Maisa of this whole Maisa of Haman, like the whole thing that happened in Purim. It really was 40. It wasn't quite, but everyone's sure that 70 years and 70 years. That's why now, like asking when is arguable, it's like then we had time. 70 years, and now we don't know. No. The Zohar Chodesh says, why couldn't Yaakov Avinu reveal the Kates, which means the absolute ultimate end time, end game. This is the time it has to be to l'chayra. Otherwise, when's the Kates? If it could come any time, how can you tell the Kates? This is the time it has to be. Why couldn't Yaakov Avinu reveal it? So the Zohar Chodesh says, oh, it's simple, because so Yaakov thought maybe they had a psul. They said, no, we don't have a blemish. Okay, so why did he reveal it? She said, because when somebody sells to you, it's going to be another 3,000 years. You're just like getting whatever, however much time. You're just going to give up. You're like, forget it. 3,000 years. It's like, what? She's like, they took it away from him. No, you don't have to give people. It's too much. It's too hard. The Medrash calls this goes without a sof. It seems to be endless. 70 years. And even 70 years, people are all confused. When's the time? How's the time? From when does it start? So Haman was sure it's 7 years. Belshazzar messed up, but I know better. I know. Right? I know. I get it. Everyone has they think they know. Right? She's like, it's over. So that means they can never go back. It's never going to be built. And they're in this very precarious trade situation. And if I destroy Mordechai represents this bechina that's taking care of them. We speak a little bit to Gemara, like reminds this bechina of Madar. We'll see now. This is sort out, but whatever this bechina is, we'll see. We'll get there. Right? This is what the Gemara yesterday. He said, if I take out Mordechai, if Mordechai goes, he said, I'm going to be able to kill the Jews. And that's, of course, the argument of Achashverosh and Haman. I think we spoke a little bit about this yesterday. Like, Haman was Achashverosh like, yeah, I'd love to kill them all, but forget it. You'll never make it. I don't know why they'll get out of it. They're going to get out of it. You're not going to. And Haman was like, no. I'll deal with them. I'll teach them. No problem. I can make it happen. I get it. So he thought he really had it. There was actually an aspect of sakana there, as Chazal say. So we're up to the second paragraph. V'hini b'zman hatzara hahi haya b'shivim shana shaz olu pnimius hazal lemala b'ima sod man k'day litin mechin eler la'leisa. But they said yachol lachso panim v'panim k'day shiyivana b'shivim. So again, you have the b'chin hatzara. We'll go with the Yesh to Be'emes maybe it's easier to think about here, and maybe the Tzaddik a little bit also similar in some ways. That this b'china we call the Zer Anpin, in cosmic terms, means the ability to perceive Hashem's hashgacha. That things are shining for you, things are working for you, it's going well, you understand. That's Zer Anpin. The kids are nimmer. It's like in 2 words, right? When you have the Zer Anpin kilo, when it's time to make a new start, if you read the Tzor Chaliyah, so what happens is, the Zer Anpin, as it were, seems like Adam Rishon falls asleep. You want to build the Malchus, build the Chava, Adam Rishon has to fall asleep. You start to lose the connection to the Hashgacha, probably. It starts to get really bumpy. That's what Nassan says. There's so many people were right at the beginning. They were right at the door to the Kedusha, and then they just it was so hard, so much stress and pressure that last little bit, they give up. Just like the first story of the Rebbe Nachman, right? Last day, blew it. Last day, blew it again. What's his problem? Twice? It's like, no, this is everyone's problem. You're at the gate. You're just going to free her. And it's like, oh, man. That's again the beginning of the Shechina. You want to have the Shechina. It's not so simple. So it's very, very easy to blow this sort of thing. So Haman understood. You had the beginning of the Hashgacha, the regular Hashgacha was missing. So it's possible to make trouble for Jewish people. Right? Because regular Hashgacha is missing. It's only Malchus. And, because the Rampin went, this is a more Rosh Hashanah. Like, what's exactly going on? Why does the Rampin have to, why did Adam Rishon have to fall asleep? Why? Because of surgery? What, Hashem couldn't, what's the problem? So cosmically, there's a Bechina. And really as well, when you learn Bereshis Bechlal, you're going to find it seems to repeat things. And that really, like the Ramban says, the only way you're going to understand what's really going on in the Maseh Bereshis is Kabbalah. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. It's very, very hard to understand. And Bechlal Torah in general, very often, what's really going on, it's totally different levels and totally different things. That's why some things that seem to be very essential, doesn't even say in the book. Other things that seem to be less important, it's all there. Like the Zohar says, don't think that Chas v'Shalom, that the Torah is just teaching you to, oh, these are stories. It's like you can find non-Jewish stories, better stories, right? Better chronicles. It's called chronicles. It calls it very interesting. These chronicles, you find these great stories of great authors. It's not relevant. The Torah is teaching you so this and Razin and Razin. That's what the Torah is doing. It's not just this is what it is. Absolutely not true. So that's the first thing. So that's about it. So what happened was Lemaisa. You have this bechina where yes, other Rishon falls asleep. We're going to build the Malchus. We're going to build the Malchus. Building Malchus means Beis Hamikdash is going to come. It's possible. So we have this Tekufa. We have this period where this is the way it is, and there's Yirida Tzorch Aliyah. We have to use the Yirida to make it Aliyah. And you know, Nachman, like we were saying before, Nachman says you can change if you fall, you can change that into a Yirida Tzorch Aliyah. It's your choice. You can access a Yirida Tzorch Aliyah. That doesn't mean Chashom, the person should fall, say, oh, I'll go fall and then I'll change that. Makes it very much harder to do tshuva. But actually, that's the way it works. So that's what we're holding. Right? So it's time to be able to build the Beis Hamikdash. But again, cut off that rib, cut off the Malchus, build the Malchus, and we get to the new level where we'll be able to build the Beis Hamikdash. That's where we're going.
What do you mean by cutting off the Malchus?
Just like Adam Rishon. You have to cut out. The Malchus is only on the Kuda. So you have to cut out the rib, Kiv Yochid, take out this Bechina, you separate. What Dari calls Nisira, means sawing off.
Well, what rib did Adam Rishon cut?
There was some, Bekitzer, the aspect of Malchus was somehow connected to Adam Rishon, right? Hashem sawed it off, and then made Malchus. Similar, because that represents something cosmically. Cosmically speaking, Hashem does the same thing. When it's time to build the Beis Hamikdash, do the same thing. You have to. There has to be a separation and a building. Like we were saying before, this is the same with a person as well. When it's time for me when I'm able to deal with one of my flaws, the first thing is for me to isolate and to understand that, I have this problem in Mamish. This is Mamish. On the Kudetz and the Klippas is bad news. And I want to build something, make that aspect reveal the Malchus of Hashem. I want to reveal Hashem's kingship in this. I don't want it to sit here and just, let it stay. I want to reveal God's kingship in this inyan. I can reveal Hashem's malchus. That's what I can do. So, fine. Very, very, very good. Yeah. Again, like other Rishon had to fall asleep. The overt hashgacha was, as the liAvraham says, and Tzaddik also, was fall asleep. And that's, by the way, how Esther got taken in the Achashverosh. Even though really it was the biggest Yeshua. But that's what the Tzaddik says. That's what we think, because there's no big, the hashgacha doesn't seem to be working to our favor so easily. The Shechina Kedosh is in Achashverosh, but the Kalipa Mamish. Right? And it's not Pashat.
So how is the Zah different than Malchus?
Okay, so the Zah represents the Bechina, which is the higher Bechina. Zah is like, let's say Torah, Torah and Tefillah, let's put it that way. In the Malchus, this is just one contract. There's many, many contracts. It's complicated, of which, like usually for Keret, Malchus is the Torah Shabbat Peh, because it's hard. It's like, B'machshach Shivani is the Talmud Bavli. Like, it's hard. It's not so, that's also true, but that generally speaking, Zah is when when a person is shining to him, he has the aura in his emotional states as well. Like he's in a good place. Malchus is like Malchus is not so much. Malchus is when it's hard. The name associated with Malchus is Ben. We don't have to go into what that is now. It's not relevant to us here. But there's a reason why I'm saying this. The name associated with Zeranpin is Ma. Rabbeinu brings from the read Ma. Shem Ma. It comes out to be 45. Memhe. It comes out to be 45. Yud Vav Daled, Hey Aleph Vav, and then Hey Aleph is 45. So Rabbeinu says that's like from the Ari, that's gematria Adam. You're a person. What's the gematria of Ben? Behema. The Nefesh Bahamas is like you're having a hard time. The donut's calling me. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time. That's a pashut. It's just like, okay, Nebuch. That's, it's the person that's prone to anger. He's short-circuited. He's short-tempered. He's whatever. All these different, every person according to where he's holding, it's like he's got a challenge. So he's got to overcome the challenge. It's not so simple. And that's a simple thing to do. So that's the Zeranpin is more when these things are shining and good. And of course, you're not from Torah Vav, right? You have the Dam and Aleph Dam. The blood's running through the person, and then you add the Aleph, Aluf Shalom, the Berkel Olamim, so then you have Aleph Dam. Very good. Very beautiful. Okay. So that's Bekitzer. So you have the Zeranpin. So when the Zeranpin's gone, it's like you don't have that emotional. It's like, well, you're all in this diminished state. And it doesn't look like the Hashgacha's running right for you. It's not, life isn't shining to you anymore. It's like, it's not so easy. And we're talking about for Klal Yisrael. And that's when it's time to build something, and time to make something new and fresh. That's
when the Zah's gone, then you could really
because what's really happening is the Zah goes up to get the whole thing going on. What's happening? Why is the Zah falling asleep? Which I'm sort of avoiding because it's more Rosh Hashanah, and not only because it's more Rosh Hashanah. It's not that. But once we get through this fact that the Zeranpin goes up, whatever it is, falls, sleeps, and that represents a lack of providence, of overt providence that we see, and the Malchus is left. We're gonna build on that because we're gonna learn halachas, special halachas about the Malchus in that state, which is very important in avodadik. Well, if we sit and focus on, okay, so what happens with the Zeranpin? Where does the Zeranpin go? If it's sleeping, where is it? It's not giving the Malchus the chiyus. The ima is it's too complicated. It's too much. We want to take things a little bites at a time. That's also one of the reasons why I like what he's the way he does it, because he brings enough of an illustration for you to just about get it and put it in reference that we know about. We know about a Mauritian. We know about who fell asleep. We know about, so we get a little idea, and we're able to put things into perspective a little bit. So that's what we're talking. That's where we are, right? So then what happened? Right? They had to go all the way, right? Right, so you're able 70 years because all 7 aspects of the Malchus had to be picked up. And when there's again one other point, we have to know that there's a Bechina that's called Achor v'Achor, the Bechina called Purim v'Purim. Achor v'Achor compared to Purim v'Purim is no revelation. It's an outer revelation. There are higher and there's lower. There are different levels. So you want to get to an inner revelation, you have to start all over from scratch. That's the way it always is. We know, right? You learn the guy showing up to Daf Yomi. This is always one of the things. Going to Daf Yomi at first is very hard for him. He talks about Nikudi as a Ratzon. It's so difficult. In the Malchus, it's so hard. And then at a certain point, he starts to get that Netzachod, right? He starts to win through. He understands this. I'm not going to learn Daf Gemara day. Come on, I got to learn something. I'm learning my job all day, whatever. Let's say that's his cheshbon, or I want to learn Shas at some point. Whatever his cheshbon, it works for him. So he's sort of getting to this place of Netzachod Yesod, right? He's doing it by Maisa. He sees that it makes a difference, right? He's feeling Gishmak in pushing himself. And, Netzach, he's working the right way. And the whole is like, Atimot, it's very important. Not do things that are going to get me to miss the Shir or whatever it is he's doing, right? And then he gets to Chesed Gvur Tiferes. He starts to feel Tiferes is Bechin of Dveikus. It's a Dveikus in it. He feels a Hav in it. He feels a year in it. He doesn't want to lose it. He wants to connect to Hashem through it. So that's great. So he has all these different levels, right? And then maybe even Mochin, even Machshava, even a higher level that's above nature. There's Tshuva, connect, understand one through the other. Chacham is a total bit like totally connect to Hashem. Subsuming Hashem, building Hashem, wonderful. Then he decides to make a seder to learn Tosfos. So this, in terms of going to the shir, which he loves, however long it is, that's working for him, preparing for it, it's all great. Tosfos, he's starting from the beginning. You all know this, right? Tosfos is a totally different world. He has to make them extra time, and he has to really work, and he has to be very focused, and he can't do it half-fast. Gemara is also hard to do half-fast, but Tosfos is impossible to understand half-fast. You're just not going to know what he's talking about at all. Gemara's hard enough, yeah, whatever. You can pour to fool yourself, more or less. You get this shit, and you pretty much get it, right? Tosfos shows you did not get it. You don't know what's flying. What's the question? Well, what happened here? What's happening there? And let's put it together. And what's the answer? And how does the answer help? But like Rashi, you have to work hard. It becomes, again, you're starting all over from that Netzachod Yesod and building again. You're starting again. You have to get to the place of the Malchus, and you're plugging with the Ratzon. And you're getting to the Netzachod Yesod. You see that what I'm doing, it makes a difference, and I can get it. I can do it. And then Netzachod is the beginning of being modern and saying, don't do things that get in your way. And the Netzach is the beginning of doing things you're going to win through and you'll be victorious. And then the Chesed Gvur Tiferes, you get to the Aviyah and Vekas through what you've been doing. And it's the same way. So similarly here also, you have 70 years to make everything the way it's supposed to be. And all 7 aspects, all 10 beginnis of them are fixed, whatever, we would have to go into that. But so it takes the time, however long it is to fix, very good. This is the level of completion, 70. We know this is 70 nations, 7 aspects fast to the Torah, very good, 70 years of a person's life. We understand that's a real level of shleimus, that's completion. And then you have a bechina where the Malchus is set. The Malchus is set, and the person is he's ready. And the same thing with the cosmically, the Zer Ampin is ready, but the Zeredi means the Zer Ampin can really, you have a bechina of Dumita, and you have a bechina of the slumber, you have a bechina of where the Ashkacha seems to disappear, and everything seems to be topsy-turvy, and really it's getting ready to do the ticket. That's now, again, there's this bechina of sawing off, the back to back, just sawing away, and then you have to start with Panim upon him, a level compared to the old level, it's like face-to-face, totally different level. You reveal the Panim, not just the back. Now it's not Chitzonius. Compared to the old level, it's Panemius. You're getting ketosis, man. That's the real deal. Your Gemara's going to be better. Everything's going to be better. You got to work hard. It's not pushing. It's just one muscle in a million muscles. Of course, you can use anything you can do that for. So that's where we're holding. So he said, has parts of shalim, right? There's moichin, everything's good, and the bechina of the Zarpins asleep, and they have to come together. There has to be a bechina of a new building to get to a totally new vista to eventually bring the Beis Hamikdash. Right? That's where we're holding. ואז, ואף שבכל לילה המלכים נכנסים בו, ונרצה מרדכי לחוץ בעולם הזה, אלא ביוס או זה נמשך זמן אורך, יתסוד מרדכי כמו שזבר. Yeah, I know this. This is another... Okay, this answers this question. Okay, which I knew also. Anyway, I had a little discussion with someone about this. So, Bez Hashem, we'll see what's going on. But he says it like this. This bechina, we're talking about the Mordechai, which is again what Haman wanted to do. Haman saw this whole situation where we're in the middle of painting this whole picture. Haman got the picture. He's okay. Mordechai is protecting the Malchus, and we'll see why and how. Whatever his or is, Mordor, whatever he is. Mordechai protecting Malchus. He said, I kill Mordechai, I can kill the Jews. Not a problem. No protection. That's what it represents. He says, and if I blow it, so maximum the Zerapah wakes up. No Mordechai. Mordechai is a very powerful war. Okay, so there's more of the providence again, no problems. If I made a mistake, which I don't think I did, because I think they're irredeemable, it's over, they're just going to stay this way, and if I deal with Mordechai, then everything will be fine. And Achashverosh is like, forget it. You can never kill these Jews, forget it. Impossible. Because you're just not, I'd love to kill the Jews, but it's just not going to work. I don't know why, but something's wrong with your calculation. There's something, you're missing something. You made a mistake. That's how he explains it. Right? So when this is a very long time, that's when this is nimshach. We'll see it in a minute. We'll get to there in a minute. Haman HaRasha Shayim B'Klipos Olam Hatzav Shiasiya Shkenaman Makor Oilat Tzav. Haman HaRasha, the Klipos of the world of Tzav, which is at Siya. Siya is Tzav. Haman with the Korla is Tzav. Right? Haman is 95 plus 1 is Tzav. So he's from Tzav. Tzav is the Klip of Asiya. We know Tzav is a Avodah Zarah. So this Bechin of Asiya, it's very hard to deal with, right? That's where he was from. Right? So
what's the racial tables for? What does it stand for? Tzav, what does it stand for?
It's Tzav. That's what it is.
Command.
Huh?
Command, maybe?
Command, but it means... Tzav means pashtus. Tzav means connect. And it's when a person is disconnected. He's connecting the wrong way through Avodah Zarah. That's l'chara, the pashtus. On a pashtus simple level, that's what it is. Very simple.
Wait, maybe like he's commanding his. He's
Actually,
commanding
the point is, bottom line, he's a Siyah, he's a Klip of a Siyah, which is Avodah Zarah, and he's against all this. Now he's going to say what I said before from him, right? Hu hayam echashiv gadol. He was a big sorcerer. He knew all this stuff. He knew the kedushas and dumita. There's not a revealed hashgacha. He's like, oh, now we can play around. We can deal with this. We can deal with these Jewish people once and for all. He wanted there shouldn't be any way of getting back up. As a euphemism, he says for the enemies of the Jewish people, but whatever it means, right? So we have a problem. He's like, I can deal with these guys. There's the general providence is kivyachol asleep, whatever that means. It's not revealed, right? She's only Malchus, and we can deal with that. Except for Mordechai. Mordechai, again, he says, if you're a long time this way, this Mordechai comes out. Right? V'zeh shamar Haman HaRasha, yesh da'amecha v'fuzim b'furit. Ram Chazal, al yishanu pirsh hu yoshan hu ha'elokosh lehem. What does Haman say to Achashverosh? Yeshno amecha. So the Gemara, Yeshno is Lashon Yoshin. Their God's asleep. If you learn that bit Pashas, it sounds very stupid. So you figure, okay, he was an unsophisticated idolater, he's a fool, and he's like, no, he wasn't any unsophisticated idolater. He understood this kind of more of Adam Rishon falling asleep is a paradigm for the Malchus. You want to build the Malchus. There's where there's fallen, there's a apparent lack of providence to bring the new level. So there's a challenge, whatever you have, you want to explain it. So that's what he said. There's a Bechin of Dumita here. I can deal with these Jewish people. Rabbi Chazal, right? Very good. V'kevashu Yoshem v'loitza lachso panim v'panim lachso livnos beis hamidrash pam sheres and kinis batik v'yochel atzmoi yisbarach v'leichana beis hamidrash chas v'shalom. Yeah.
Mordechai represents what?
Mordechai, we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. This ha'ara that comes out when things are a long time.